So if y'all don't know, I've been a little member of the Latin American Student Association here at the school that I'm at, right? So yesterday they had dance tryouts for balo and hip hop. So I'm a demonstrate. Unless it looks bad on camera. If it looks bad on camera, you're not getting to see it. I don't remember what was next. I'm not gonna lie. Oh wait, then it was that, and then it's like that was the balo one. The hip hop one. Let's see if I remember. Oh, I messed up. I messed that one up. Hold on. Yo, bailo. Yo, bailo. So they recorded it because, you know, they got to check the auditions basically. And I couldn't let them have blackmail over me. So I had to make sure I put it out on my own. In case they were like, here's our tryouts. And I'm like, that junk's online. I put it online first. Okay. And this is probably worse because I messed it up a little bit. But I'm surprised I remember both of those. Anyway. All right, how you guys doing today? We about to hop into a little reaction to First Things First, though. Just make sure you like that video, dog. A little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, full screen it back up. You feel me? All right, so we got a video from the Jewish Learning Institute. One of my friends was talking to me about the Talmud, and the Talmud is like a Jewish work, a Babylonian work. I don't really know. So we're checking out what is the Talmud, how was it created. I saw something in it that said Mary was a whore. She was born to a Roman soldier and something, and the Roman soldier ain't want the kid. However, the Gospels recount that the Holy Spirit immaculately conceived Jesus. Talmud says different. It was written like 400 AD or something, way after. So I was initially just going to say, you know what, crazy book, whatever. He convinced me. He's like, yo, check it out. Don't just instantly dismiss it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Even though I think that if there was any major contradictions between the stuff like this and it was disproven, like Christianity was disproven, everybody would already know about it. But to just be the fair scholar that he thinks I should be, because I was going to say that I am, but I wasn't. I was just going to write it off. Right? We're going to check it out. We're going to do some research. We're going to figure out what it's talking about. So let's check it out.
This is the Talmud. 63 tractates, 523 chapters, 2 million words. After the Bible, the Talmud is the most important work of Jewish literature and has defined Jewish learning for centuries. From the outside, the Talmud looks like a book, albeit a rather formidable book, but from the inside, it looks more like this. Why is it so complicated? To decipher the Talmudic daf, or folio page, we first need to understand what the Talmud is, how it came to be created, and what a volume of Talmud contains. A volume of Talmud is not a book, it's a library of books. A typical volume of Talmud might include more than 100 works, composed by hundreds of authors over a period of more than 1,800 years. Let's deconstruct the daf, and then rebuild it layer by layer. The oldest part of the Talmud is the Mishnah. Compiled by Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi in the Holy Land more than 1,800 years ago, the Mishnah was the first officially transcribed record of Torah law, which up until that point had been handed down through the generations as an exclusively oral tradition.
Okay, so it was oral tradition, and go back a little bit. First officially transcribed record of the Torah law, which was exclusively oral tradition beforehand. What about the book of like Deuteronomy, Numbers? What about those? Because he said after the Bible is the most important work. So if the Bible was more, this is 1800 years ago. So the Mishnah, the first book, was recorded at about 200 AD. So we have that. Let's let him continue.
Which up until that point had been handed down through the generations as an exclusively oral tradition. The Mishnah, however, is very concise, almost a shorthand. Over the next 300 years, many hundreds of Torah sages analyzed, discussed, and debated the teachings contained within the Mishnah, and these discussions became the Gemara, which together with the Mishnah constitute the Talmud. There are many pages of Gemara for each Mishnah, as these discussions often range far afield to include many additional teachings covering virtually every topic under the sun. The Gemara was completed in the beginning of the 6th century in Babylonia, written mostly in the Aramaic dialect that was the spoken language of the Jewish people at the time. Studying the Talmud is a challenging task. It requires knowledge of its often obscure terminology, being familiar with the many references to parallel Talmudic teachings, and an ability to follow the complex, multi-tiered arguments presented in its discussions. In fact, the Talmud presented on its own would be a closed book to all but the most advanced Talmud scholar. So over the centuries, hundreds of commentaries were written to decipher, explain, and discuss the Talmudic text. Some of these were published alongside the Talmud itself in recognition that they are indispensable to any attempt to properly understand the text. Rashi, the most basic and comprehensive of all Talmudic commentaries, was placed alongside the Talmudic text in some of the earliest manuscripts and published editions of the Talmud. But when one Talmud scholar writes a commentary, other scholars will offer alternative explanations or have additional questions and issues they feel the need to address. Flanking Rashi on the daf is Tosfot, which is actually an anthology of commentaries by dozens of sages, including a number of Rashi's disciples and descendants. The analytic and dialectic style of the Tosfot commentaries strongly influenced the manner in which Talmud has been studied over the centuries throughout Europe and beyond. Over the years, more elements were added to the daf to aid the student's navigation of the text. But there's a limit to how many commentaries a page can hold, even an oversized folio page of Talmud. So other major commentaries were added to the back pages of each tractate for ready reference, and many, many more. In addition, many more commentaries on the Talmud were published and continue to be published each year in separate volumes. Today, if you wish to research a complex issue, compare and contrast different opinions on a topic, trace back their sources, examine the issue's applications in multiple fields, you can open multiple windows on your screen and even hook up more screens to your computer. But centuries before Windows 1.0, centuries before electronic information technologies, Jews committed to exploring the multi-chambered laboratory of wisdom called the Talmud had already invented the original hypertext, the daf.
Shout out Rabbi Yankee. And yeah, that was crazy. It seems like it's just, from what I understood, a book of the law with teachings and such. Now, I don't think I had this video ready to go, what's written in the Talmud, but he kind of got into it, so I want to go into what the Talmud says about Jesus. We're picking this video from the Line of Fire. Let's check it out.
Is it true that the Talmud, a collection of many books of rabbinic literature, commentary on scripture, folklore, tradition, legal discussion, is it true that the Talmud has some very, very harsh things to say about Jesus? Probably so, but there is some debate about it. It should not surprise us, though, because Jesus was maligned in his lifetime and rejected by some of the Jewish leadership, and some spoke evil words about him then, saying that he worked miracles by the power of Satan. So it shouldn't surprise us afterwards that Jewish leaders would say harsh things about Jesus and believe harsh things. It doesn't make it right, but it shouldn't surprise us. Here's what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 10. Matthew 10:25, it is enough, he says, for the disciple to be like his teacher and the servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house, speaking of him, Beelzebub, like Satan himself, how much more will they malign those of his household? So, first we know that Jesus was maligned and his name was spoken against while he was alive. It's no surprise that there are Jewish leaders who rejected him, who continued to speak evil about him. Number two, over the course of centuries, as the Jewish people continued to resist the message of Jesus as a nation, and as Christianity became the dominant religion, then the church began to persecute the Jews. Earlier, the Jews were persecuting the Christians. Now the Christians were persecuting the Jews, and this increased Jewish animosity towards Jesus and Christians. Now, the debate is, does the Talmud speak about the same Jesus, or is there another Jesus, because it was a very common name? The Talmud has some very, very harsh things to say about a particular Jesus, and says that he was a sorcerer and an idolater who deceived, that he was the son of a whore, that his mother Mary slept with a Roman soldier, so that he was born out of wedlock. And if it's the same Jesus that's being spoken of, it says that he's burning in excrement in hell. Yes, that's actually in the Talmud, if it's speaking about the same Jesus in these various passages. Some scholars say it is, some scholars say it's not. There are rabbis that say we really don't know either way. But as offensive and ugly as that is, please understand that would be less than 1% of the content of the Talmud, which is not there primarily to attack Jesus, but to talk about Jews and the law. If in fact it does mention Jesus in those passages, it's ugly, it's wrong, all the more reason to reach Jewish people, to tell them who Jesus really is. We can help you do that. Go to our website, askdrbrown.org. Many Jewish links to help you.
I think it's interesting that it said that he said some scholars say it's talking about Jesus, some don't. Why would they talk about his mother being a whore, Mary, a Roman, like Mary, whore, born out of wedlock, burning in hell? I don't really know how common of a name Yeshua was back then, but chances are they talking about our Jesus anyway. But forgot to even tell you guys, the reason I'm yawning so much, I may look dead tired. I pulled not an all-nighter, but dang near an all-nighter from 12:30, because the tryouts started at 8:30. I thought that they would last till 10. I didn't know that there was 2 types of dancing going on. I thought it was just one. So I was like, oh yeah, dance tryouts, hour and a half. Hour and a half for the first one, the balo, and then hip hop was another hour. Luckily, it was so quick. Thank goodness. So I got back at 11, took a shower, whatever I did, unwinded a little bit, probably played some Clash Royale. Oh yeah, did my Duolingo, played Clash Royale at the end of the day, got my season tokens in. Actually, I don't think I got my season tokens in. Whatever. Came back 12:30. I started, worked till 8 a.m. basically, little breaks in between, stuff like going to fill up my water. A little Clash Royale break to ease my mind for a little bit. But 12:30 to 8 a.m. slept for about an hour and a half. Woke up, ate breakfast, killed that presentation, absolutely murdered that presentation. It was beauteous. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the Talmud. If there's anything else I'm missing about it, if there's anything you guys think is important about it, please let me know. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourselves fantastic rest of your day. Peace.